Are you serious? Are you serious? The Oregon standoff. The Oregon standoff. We got word on the street. Word on the street is that the local hospital is starting to beef up staff. That the FBI has been there, has walked around in the hospital, checking things out security-wise. Staff is beefing up. Government agencies seem to be renting hotels and seen eating in restaurants. In other words, what's happening is there's a sense of feeling of a showdown or a potential confrontation between those militant standoff U.S. citizens who are just saying, look, we're tired of the overreaching of the federal government. We're tired of it. And we're going to, and so they have taken over a wildlife refuge there in a little standoff. These guys are armed. They're using both their First Amendment rights for freedom of speech and their Second Amendment rights to freedom to bear arms to do a civil disobedience, if you will, a peaceful protest, which is constitutionally protected, but they are occupying a federal building, which that could be where the government says, look, that's enough. And maybe the United States government right now is waiting. Maybe the Obama administration is trying to let this play itself out and give them their due, just like they did with the Occupy Wall Street protesters who were sitting on federal property and state property and city property and private property even for months and months. As a matter of fact, they were protected by the government to do what they're doing. Now, here's what's going on. We're getting this information. It's word on the street that there seems to be some movement in the area. There's FBI agents. There is a beefing up of medical staff. And let's just pray this doesn't mean anything, that there's we don't want a Waco situation. We don't want a Ruby Ridge situation here. But what we do want is these gentlemen to have the right to protest peacefully and to be sure they send their message that the United States government cannot just keep acquiring private property from families and from farmers and from groups that may own property in real good locations along oceanfront property and different places. Eminent domain has to be because it's in the best interest of the entire citizens of the area, maybe. But then it has to be still the individuals have rights to own private property. That is one of your constitutional rights. Certainly, the government doesn't need to go way out in the middle of Oregon and start taking property from people, or way out in the middle of Arizona, especially if that property may have gas and oil or gold or copper mines. And then so they're trying to give them a price for the land, a cheap price for the land, and then go for the gusto. And that's what a lot of American people are sensing. They're seeing it. And even now, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, 2 deputies will lead and head to, we'll go over to Harvey County, and they're going to assist with the ongoing standoff there and protest. Columbia County Sheriff Jeff Dickerson said that he's sending 2 deputies from his office, and they'll head to Burns. Both are expected to remain there throughout the weekend, which they did. And they're also sending some more resources along with many other sheriffs around the state to help Sheriff David Ward with the temporary increased demand for public safety in the county. So law enforcement is starting to slowly creep in. The FBI is showing up in the area. Local restaurants, they're seen in the hospital areas, and the staffing's being beefed up. This is the word on the street from very reliable sources, and they're right about 90% of the time. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on in the Oregon standoff, okay? Pray for these guys. They have a right to protest. They have a right for freedom of speech and freedom to bear arms. Pray for the community, that they'll understand it, people will get behind them and understand what's happening. Pray that the federal government allows them full opportunity to voice their opinion, and pray that there is no, absolute no violence or confrontation with weapons, and that this ends peacefully, and that a message is sent to Washington. You can't keep just taking from the people. All right? Overreaching government. Like Ronald Reagan said, government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. Are you saved? That's why there's an anti-establishment spirit rising in America today. It's why they want outsider candidates to run for president, whether it be Donald Trump or Dr. Ben Carson or some of the others. There is certainly a movement to change the status quo. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. Citizen containment. Citizen containment. Remember that word.